Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Hump Day edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parrish Construction and Roofing. You need an orthopedic, go to Brock. You need a roof, you call Parrish. As a matter of fact, the reason I'm a smidge late today is because we had a little Parrish, not a Parrish issue. I had a friend who had a roof issue, and I was trying to get him connected with our people over at Parrish because that's what we do. You have a roof emergency, guess what? We're there. Parrish Construction Roofing, parrishbuilt.com. Okay, y'all, the New Orleans Saints back in New Orleans practiced on Tuesday night at Yulman Stadium. Would strongly encourage you go check out louisianasports.net. Our buddy Ross Jackson was there. He's got his observations from practice posted right now at louisianasports.net. Free always and everything. So it's right there on the top stories. At louisianasports.net if you want to go check it out. Derek Carr had a good day. Good news for the Saints is they're apparently getting healthier. Kool-Aid McKinstry avoided major injury on his knee. Juwan Johnson activated off a pup. They think he'll be ready for the start of the season, which is all just really fantastic news. They need to be healthy to have a shot. They got to be healthy to have a shot. So looks like they're getting there. And Tigers are back on the practice field today as well. There is media availability. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I have a guarantee leadership meeting this morning. We have quarterly meetings, and our meeting just happens to be today at 9:00 in the morning. So I won't be there, but we'll make sure we get you a full practice report. And by the way, Brian Kelly has reversed course. This is our last media availability. We do not have access on Saturday to the scrimmage. So bummed by that. I was really hoping to get to see one more scrimmage period in advance of the game against USC. We did get to watch scrimmage last year in Tiger Stadium. So a little disappointed we're not going to get to see that, but I totally understand, man. You're prepping for an opponent, and there's only so much you want to see, and they've been great to us with access through fall camp, and hope you all have enjoyed the coverage. So now we just pivot into to season and game mode. So looking forward to that as well. Okay, y'all do me a favor. You know the drill. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, follow along on the profile. I'll explain for those maybe just finding us here on this portion of Facebook. We did the show for years on the Facebook page, my professional page. Well, long story short, Facebook changed its algorithm, so we moved from the page to the profile. So please, that's the picture of me and Erica, me with a sport coat on. That's the profile picture, the avatar, the profile picture there. So you can follow that profile. So if you would, I'd appreciate that as well. Okay. Brock, Parrish, remember Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, semaglutide, tirzepatide, the once-a-week injections for weight loss. Everybody knows someone who's an old Ozempic, as people say, whatever. But if you're interested, they can do the whole thing over telemed, so you don't even have to go into the office, and they can ship anywhere in the country. So even if you're outside of Baton Rouge and you're interested, use Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, and 50% off your first month in August. So check it out. uniquephysique.com, and of course restoredmotions.com. Okay, y'all, let's say some good morning, see what y'all got. Abner Neal, good morning. Brian Wynn, what's up? Trivia Carter, good morning. Jacob Thompson, morning, Matt. I've been thinking about you and what would be very embarrassing for LSU this football season if they lost to Vandy at Death Valley. I don't know what I'd do after that. Yeah, Jacob, I covered this team when they lost to Troy in 2017. They darn near lost to Troy in 2008. Epic comeback. There have been bad losses, man. So that they happen. And usually bad losses affect change. Quinn Breakbill, good and happy hump day. Bradley in Graphia, good morning. Jackson Carney, Matt, I get you're bashing LSU's playoff expectations on the last 10 years, but with 2 coaching changes and rebuild, shouldn't you also consider the prior 10 years when LSU would have made it 6 times? Jackson, I'm not bashing anything. You can be up in your feels about whatever you want, but there's a reality. I'm just speaking to reality. And to your point about the previous years, I went back in the playoff era, in the 4-team playoff era. And that's the sample size that we have. You want to do that? Fine. Use that 10 years. Then let's go 10 years prior to that. Let's talk about the late 80s and throughout the 90s and see how many times LSU would have been. We could play this game forever. You're in your feels, man. I took a sample size of the playoff era from 2014 to now. How many times LSU would have been in a 12-team playoff? And the answer is 2. My only point is there's a lot of fans. The point I'm making is there's a lot of fans from a lot of programs that expect that their team is just going to be in a playoff every year because it's expanded to 12 teams. And I'm telling you, the numbers don't bear that out. Eric Wilder, and by the way, let's not talk about past coaches. Let's talk about current coaches. In the last 2 years with your current coach, you would not have made a 12-team playoff. Eric Wilder, morning, Scone. Just for the sake of looking at both sides of an outcome, if a group of 5 schools is able to win a playoff game, do you think that shuts down the argument to remove them? I don't think it shuts it down because it'll just take once for the scenario that I've talked about to unfold for there to generate massive conversation around it and affect change. For example, the LSU Alabama 2011 thing. Alabama lost. They got a rematch, and that ultimately affected change. There's moments like that in sports that cause a reaction. So, no, I don't think that a G5 win in a playoff game singular would cause any change. And by the way, I don't think that happens, Eric. I know you're saying just for the sake of argument, because there's a dramatic difference between a G5 in a New Year's 6 game where they're playing like it's their Super Bowl because it's the biggest thing they've ever done, and playing against teams that are massively disappointed to be stuck in a game against a team that they don't really care to play. Motivation matters. Opt-outs matter. All that happens. So, yeah. Damon, good morning. Melody, good morning. Hope Drew's having a great week at the new St. Lily and Calachi. The new St. Lily and Calachi. By the way, Drew is awake already. When I went in there to stop his backpack feed at like 6:45, brought his his feed and pump and everything into the kitchen. Want to walk back to go take a shower. He's just sitting up in his bed. Get out. I'm like, you don't want to go dodo? Get out. I'm like, okay, you can get. So he's up. He's running around in there somewhere. Jason H, good morning. Brian Penn, good morning from Boston, Mass. All right, Brian, hope it's a great day, man. Cliff, what up? Good morning. Coming to you live from Nashville, here for the week for work. All right, Cliff, enjoy it, man. Nash Vegas. Was there last summer for SEC Media Days. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know where you're staying, Cliff, but we were at the Omni downtown, it's where Media Days was. And I remember like looking out the window in my hotel room, and I counted like 19 cranes just as far as Omni's a huge hotel. So I was like on the 20 whatever floor, right? But so you could just see as far as the eye can see. And it's like I counted 19 cranes. There's just buildings going up everywhere in Nashville. Brian, what are the chances we get the safety from Galveston? Yeah, I'm hopeful, man. But I'm going to ask some baseball people today because I'm curious. I think we tend to, and recruiting people tend to focus so heavily on the football side of things. But Jonah Williams is an elite high-level baseball prospect, and I'm curious how much that factors into his decision. So I'm going to ask some baseball people today if they have a lean. Talked to Shea Dixon yesterday, and unfortunately, he seemed pretty convinced that Texas is going to be the choice there for Jonah Williams, but we'll see. Cajun Country, good morning. Like the new website, got most of LA in one site, and we're working on it, man. We're working on adding more. But we had a certain budget we launched with, and I needed to get our big pillars, which were LSU and the Saints. So we did that, and then we hired Chris Marler as well, really as the social media manager. He's the one helping, managing all of our social media content, but also has covered the SEC for Saturday Down South. So he's providing some of our SEC written content as well that you'll see there. But thank you for the compliment, man. Jeff, what up? Dustin Balello, good morning, big brother Scone. Wayne Blanchard, good morning. Hey, Rocky. Love the headline on Louisiana Sports.net. Carr impressive in first NOLA practice. LOL. Well, I didn't write the headline. And it was his first practice in NOLA this year. Weston, good morning. Do you ever go back and listen to your 2019 preseason analysis? No, we know about what that team was. Did you ever predict something close to that? I can't say that I have. I don't know. You know what I remember the most about 2019? So just for that, the context of how you asked it, could you have predicted anything? Joe Burrow at Media Days that year, at SEC Media Days, made a comment that got a lot of play because he said something to the effect of, like, we're going to average 45 points a game. And everybody kind of laughed at him. And he was right because he knew. But to the point, thank you. Thank you, Rocky. Okay. Sorry. Basing, not bashing. Okay, got it. Anyway, to the point about 2019, look, what you had was the sample of 2018, right? And so 2018, the thing I know I've said often about 2018 is Joe Burrow went the entire month of October without throwing a touchdown pass. Like, think of that. Like, think about how crazy that is to say when the dude threw 60 touchdown passes in 2019. Load. Come on. There we go. So in 2018, Burrow threw for 2,500 yards on the number, 2,500, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks. You know, that's not right. ESPN says he threw for 48. I thought he threw for 60. Yeah, ESPN's wrong. What is maybe that's just the regular season. Maybe they didn't count. Yeah, I bet that's what it was. I bet they didn't count like SEC championship. Yeah, that's wrong. He threw for 60 touch. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. In 2019, Burrow threw for 56, 71, and 60 touchdowns. So yeah, ESPN stat was wrong. Anyway, so no, I didn't foresee him throwing 60 touchdown passes. No, not at all. Jason, good morning. Troy Toriano, all right. Brian, let's see. Them Gumps don't take sarcasm very good, do they? I was reading some of them comment off Facebook. I had them going too. Oh, and the Bama's burning stuff. It's just like fishing with dynamite. It's just so easy. You just throw the line in the water and it's just like boom, hook, line, and sinker. They just melt every time. Every time. Rocky. Oh, sorry, read that one. Bama is burning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Joseph, good morning. Jackson. Yeah, there you go, Jackson. So, like, I did correct. Thanks to Rocky. I did correct basing instead of bashing. So that's where word choice does matter. But you can look at the full picture. But again, like I said, you can go back 10 years prior to that. You can do the entire history of LSU football. How many times in the history of LSU football would they have been in a 12-team playoff? The point is, many more years, more often than not, they would not be in. So I would look at the more recent sample size. And I'm not bashing LSU. I'm not trying to say this team won't make it. I'm just trying to say this was the thing that was so telling to me at SEC Media Days, when you're in this sort of one hyper-focused like epicenter of SEC football universe. It's all the media that covers the league. It's the coaches, the key players, the administrators, everybody from the SEC all in one place for 4 days. And so when you're in the thick of that every single day, you start to understand what narratives are, what people think. And there's a lot of programs that feel like they're going to be in the 12-team playoff every single year because, it's 12. They expanded. We'll get in every year. That's my only point is I got a 10-year sample size that suggests After Dad's show, we're going to get dressed and we're going to go to New St. Lillian with Daddy. You want to come say hi? You want to come say hi? Nope. Go. Oh, man. Jordan Jones. How about these little teases of fall weather in the morning? So y'all know I'm an early riser. I go work out at 5:30. And this morning, I get in the car, obviously in the garage. And so I didn't get out until I was at the gym. And I didn't even notice it when I got there. But when I walked out of the gym today, I was like, what is this sorcery? It was insanely pleasant. I mean, my goodness. Please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel. Bailey, I think it's way more likely LSU beats Ole Miss and Bama at home than beating Arkansas, A&M, Florida on the road. Well, LSU was undefeated at home last year. I do worry about the A&M game, considering it's the second of back-to-back road conference games. I talk about that all the time. That's a spot that I don't love. At Florida is a tricky spot because it is on the road the week after you play Alabama. There's always the chance of a letdown after Bama. So I tend to agree. I mean, it's just harder to go on the road and win the conference. Brian, one more week till we get Russ. Yep, I've been texting with Russ all week. Juan, good morning. Can't wait for Vegas. Holla at your boy. I'll be there, man. We'll look forward to seeing you. Bubba, good morning. James, Brad, Kevin, Tommy, what's good? OTB was saying yesterday Carr was the 18th highest paid quarterback. That's about where his performance is. Does that make it easier to move on for the Saints? No, Tommy. This is okay. Good question. This is where they are mistaken. So you can look at average annual value. Okay. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Sorry, wrong one. There it is. I wanted OTC. Here it is. Okay. You can look at average annual value. And Derek Carr's average annual value is $37.5 million. Okay. Which puts him, let's see, Lawrence, Love, Burrow, Tua, 4, Goff, 5, Herbert, 6, Lamar, 7, Hurts, 8, Kyler Murray, 9, Deshaun Watson, 10, Mahomes, 11, Kirk Cousins, 12, Allen, 13, Daniel Jones, 14, Prescott, 15, Stafford, 16, Carr, 17. So Derek Carr is 17th on average annual value, okay? So he's at $37.5 million, okay? Here's the problem. When they restructured his deal, Derek Carr, now, this year his cap hit is 12.6, fine. But in restructuring his deal, next year, his cap hit is $51 million. And the year after that, his cap hit is $61.4 million. Now, they can off-ramp off the deal after next year, but they would take $28 million in dead money. So either way, Derek Carr next year is $51 million against the cap, which if you go average annual value would put him fourth behind Lawrence, Love, and Burrow. That's a problem. Hi, Drew. Hunter Broadhead, Club Ruckus, Michael Thacker. Seems like we've heard a lot about the Weeks brothers and Perk, but not much about Penn. Concerning at all, or have I just been under a rock? No, that's fair, Michael. They are using all four of those guys, and I think what you're going to see is they're going to be Derry Beckwith had a great answer about this yesterday, that they're going to use all four of them situationally. And for example, whenever we see LSU go nickel and they put a pass rush package in, Harold Perkins lines up on the left side of the line, and Whit Weeks is the lone off-ball linebacker. That's a nickel. They were in goal line last week, first and goal from the 4. Your off-ball backers were Perkins and West Weeks. So I guess my point is, depending on, and that may just be what we are seeing, right? Like what situations and what defensive alignments they're showing us. So Greg Penn's played a lot of football. He's going to play a lot this year. But I think the point is you're going to see all of them. Brian Broom, good morning. Rocky, what are our chances of landing Aiden Anding? Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Had Shea Dixon on AFR on Tuesday, put in his pick for Aiden Anding for LSU. I actually played the clip of Shea talking about Aiden Anding on Locked on LSU today. So shout out if you haven't caught Locked on LSU today, please go do that. Favorite podcast app or YouTube, just search Locked on LSU. I'd appreciate it. All right. As always, shout out to Brock and Parrish. Need North Peach, go to Brock. They're the best. brortho.com. Locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. Of course, if you need a roof, give us a shout at Parrish Construction and Roofing. Visit parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Jordan, what's the main look at practice today? Yeah, Jordan, unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. For those that missed it, I've got a guaranteed leadership meeting. We have quarterly meetings, and it just happens to be that our quarterly meeting is today at 9 a.m., so I can't make practice. So we'll get a practice report, though. Brad, were you at the opener in 2002 at Virginia Tech? I was there. My dad at the time was speaking of which, shout out, Dad. Good morning. My dad was working for Lamar at the time, and we hopped on Lamar's private plane the morning of the game, flew into Blacksburg, how about this? For what would have been at the time, 20-year-old Matty Moe. I had no business being on this plane. Jump on the plane, fly direct Baton Rouge to Blacksburg. We land in Blacksburg. There's a limo that picks up all the Lamar people that were on the plane, takes us, drops us right off at the stadium. Tailgate, go to the game, watch LSU lose to Virginia Tech. Get back in the car, drive us to the private airport, back on the PJ and home. If I ever had just insane money, I would absolutely buy a private jet. That may seem like excess or unnecessary, but the convenience of travel with a PJ is it's a no-brainer. I hit the Powerball. I got 200 milli. What's the first thing you're going to do? I'm going to buy a private jet. First thing I'm going to. Well, I'll tithe. First thing I'll do is I'll tithe my 10%, and then I'll go buy a private jet. Thomas Lamont, who do you think has a better rookie year, Brian Thomas or Malik Neighbors? Yeah, I think it's Brian Thomas because of the situation. He's got Trevor Lawrence throwing to him instead of Daniel Jones. So, and Brian Thomas, I don't know if you've noticed, like I'm not a fantasy football guy, but we have, we have the TVs on in studio during ESPN, and there's like a fantasy football show that comes on. And so even though it's off, I can still see the graphics and like what they're talking, the volume's off. And like, it seems like every day they're talking about Brian Thomas as someone you should draft for fantasy. So it makes sense. I mean, he's had a great preseason. He's awesome. I think he's going to be in that offense what Calvin Ridley was. I think he's going to be great. Sorry, I just read that one. Hey, Dane, good morning. Ethan, Trey Morgan made it to AA. Yeah, man. As a matter of fact, that story was posted yesterday on LouisianaSports.net. So please bookmark LouisianaSports.net. Make it part of your daily routine to visit LSU news, Saints news, SEC news. It's all there for you at Louisiana's feature stories, deep dives. Ross Jackson had a great, actually, if y'all would indulge me, I would love to share this with you in the comments. Ross Jackson had a great piece where he did a film study, if you're interested in this. So he went back and watched the entire 95-yard drive, and he gave you a play-by-play breakdown of that drive and what they did. So it's pretty fascinating stuff. And that's the kind of content that's usually buried behind a paywall other places. At LouisianaSports.net, it's free. So the practice report from yesterday is up as well for the Saints. So lots of content, free content, including news like Trey Morgan making it to AA. Hey, Daniel Guidry, good morning. Galveston here. There you go, dude. Hey, go find Jonah Williams and put an LSU sign in his yard. Rocky giving you a hard time. I know how you feel about Carr. I actually, him and haven't the slightest evidence to support it. I hope they have a great year nonetheless. So do I. Here's the part that stinks, Rocky. You've heard me say it before. The worst part about being in the opinion media is giving opinions. I would rather keep my mouth shut and just cheer for my team. But I have to give opinions. I get paid to give opinions. My opinion is Derek Carr is not very good and they're not going to win a lot. So I have to say that because that's my honest opinion. So I'll watch the games on Sunday and live and die with them and hope that they win every game and go win a Super Bowl and you all can point and laugh at me. But I don't believe that's going to happen. And I get paid to say that on air. Daniel, how much of Caleb Jackson are we going to see? Well, Josh Williams is going to get the first carry of the season. And I think they're going to try to ride Caleb Jackson or Josh Williams. I believe Caleb Jackson has the highest upside of all their backs. And there might get to a point where there's an inevitability. Maybe it's a thing like when he'll hate that I say this, but like when in 2007 with Hester and Keeland. You could look at Keelan Williams and Hester and recognize that Keelan was an incredible athlete, a super talented running back, but Hester was awesome. He could run with power. He could run away from people. He was perfect in protection. He caught passes. Hester was great. Jacob Hester was first team All SEC. And I'm not just saying this because I work with the guy. Like, I think you all know, I'm almost positive he was first team All SEC as a senior. Second team All SEC. Forgive me. So he was second team All SEC as a senior. He was a. Oh God, I gotta go. But people looked at Keeland and were like, you could see the ability, right? But you won games. Hester ran for 1,100 yards as a senior. He ran for 1,100 yards and a dozen touchdowns. And he never fumbled. Keelan fumbled. That was a problem. You know what? So it was like people were intoxicated by the athleticism and the ability that Keelan had that they forgot Jacob Hester was an 1,100-yard rusher in the SEC. And ran for a dozen touchdowns and never fumbled and was a great blocker and caught everything. So it's like, I think it's kind of a situation with Josh Williams where Josh Williams is a really good SEC back. He can block. He knows his assignments. He runs with power. He runs with intensity. He can catch the ball. He's all those things. Yes, I think long-term Caleb Jackson has the higher upside than Josh Williams. And maybe that ends up becoming a by committee thing as the season goes along, but we'll see. I do believe that Brian Kelly has been very adamant. They're bullish on Josh Williams, and he's going to be the guy. And I don't know this, but I would bet Josh Williams is going to get number 18. I don't know who else would get it. Okay, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm already 3 minutes late. I got to go because I got to get Drew dressed and get him to St. Lillian. So y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. Locked on LSU is already live, so please subscribe on YouTube, on your favorite podcast app. AFR at 3, and please support all of our sponsors. They're tagged in the description on YouTube, and I'll make sure to tag them on Facebook as well. Have an awesome day.